Hello, Mary O'Malley with the 9th video on my new book, What's in the Way is the Way. And now we're at the heart of the matter, the heart. The ability to meet ourselves in our own hearts. And we are not good at this. We're good at fixing and changing and rearranging and trying to get rid of and deny and understand what we are experiencing. But we're afraid of actually meeting what we're experiencing. And that is why we have spent the last 2 chapters looking at the phenomenal power of curiosity, of the ability to have your attention and your immediate experience together. Because these parts that you are afraid of, the feelings that you're afraid of inside of, don't go away when you deny, fix, change, rearrange. In fact, they run us from underneath our everyday awareness. And so to develop not only the capacity for curiosity, but the capacity for acceptance, for allowing, for listening to what you are experiencing. It is helpful to know you're a community inside. You got all sorts of parts in there. You got angry parts, and you got sad parts, and you got confused parts, and you've got terrified parts, and you've got despairing parts, and you've got lonely parts. And you're not alone in having all these different parts. And you're also not alone in the management of your parts, rather than the engagement, rather than the actual meeting of your own immediate experience. And so in order to begin to do that, it is really helpful to know that each one of these parts of yourself shows up as sensations in your body. They show up as feelings that are moving through you, and they show up as stories in your head. And every single one of these parts has their own particular view of the world. And when you are looking at the world through the view of one of your parts, it's like putting on a fractured pair of glasses. So let's take dread, for example. That was one of the core parts that I took on in my life. And it ran me from underneath my everyday awareness for a very, very long time in my life. And it caused me to really be afraid of life, afraid that life was not safe and it was going to overtake me. So I locked myself away from life for a number of years, in my 20s. And I also, this dread became so permeating me that I even was afraid of food. But as I learned how to turn towards what I was experiencing, and even the dread, it took a while to learn how to do that. This energy that was bound up in this deep fear inside of me began to open up and to be freed up. So what does that look like? Well, just imagine that you're having a difficult day and you go to a friend and you say, "Oh my God, I'm having such a difficult day." And that friend did with you what you usually do with yourself when a part that you are having difficulty with arises. They try to fix you. They turn and walk out of the room. They judge you. "Oh my God, how many times do I have to listen to this part?" Now, how does that make you feel? Just imagine it. Now, imagine that friend really, truly listening to you. They're not trying to fix, they're not judging, they're not even trying to understand. They're just there with you. What would happen? You would say at the end of that conversation, "Oh my God, I feel so much better." Why is that? Because true healing happens in a field of acceptance and listening. And whatever you were experiencing received acceptance and listening from your friend. And the energy that was bound up inside of you began to open up so it can be freed up. And so hopefully you understand more so the little ditty life is set up to bring up what has been bound up. It's okay to be put into situations that bring up all these parts that we have run away from our whole life, so they can be seen, so they can be freed up, so you can show up for life. For these parts are longing for the same thing that you long for when you are having a bad day and you want somebody to listen to you. And so there's a couple of different things in this chapter that really helps us to develop this capacity to stand with ourselves, to give ourselves the light of our own accepting attention. And the first is, as is, I'm here. To me, those 4 words are some of the most powerful words a human being can bring into their life. As is. It says, I'm not going to get caught in resisting what I'm experiencing for just this moment. I am going to allow it to be there. In other words, you're out of the game of struggle. And then I'm here says, I am going to give my experience the attention it needs in order to begin to release, to move through me. Because remember, it's just bound up energy. And the I'm here is exactly what your friend was giving you in our little example earlier. So as is, I'm here brings you into the magic of alchemy, that you are actually fully with what you are experiencing. And for some of the deeper parts, the parts that have been hidden away for a long time, it can be very helpful to say, I see you. Just like your friend was saying it without words, but you can say it to these parts. I see you. It's okay that you're here. I am here with you now. And that is pure magic. That is the magic of alchemy. And so this does take time. This is not something that will happen overnight. We are very used to leaving ourselves, especially when we most need ourselves. We're not skilled at meeting ourselves in our own hearts. So be gentle, but be willing to keep on coming back, to ask, what am I experiencing right now? And pull on as is, I'm here, or I see you, so you can meet yourself in your own heart. And the more you do this, the more you become a healing presence in the world. Because when you have met those parts of yourself that formerly have been outside of your heart, when you are maneuvering through your life and somebody is exhibiting that part, you no longer react to them. You respond to them because you have learned how to respond to this part. And that is how our world will be healed. Or as it says in the title of this chapter, all is welcome here.